Oh, and we're up, and we're doing it. Welcome along to Bangkok ChitChat. It's a regional report with Chris Walker, and we're going to be talking about the latest news from Chiang Mai, plus what he's doing there, as he did have a business pre-pandemic and during it, and hopefully what is now getting out of it. But first things first, Andrew, it's you're looking good.
Yeah, thank you very much. Haircut and the whole lot. The last night we were on, I felt I looked more like what's it? It's a guy, the little French cartoon character, Timmy. What's that? And I had a wee flick, flick in my.
Oh
hair.
right, yeah.
So I looked like wow. I shouldn't have brought it up because I forgot the bloody name of the guy. Anyway.
Nothing like doing it live, really, and nothing like a bit of preparation.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, what we'll do is we'll admit Chris just now, so he's going to come on.
Yeah. So we hear the ding dong. I don't know if everyone else hears that except for us, but it's do everyone hear that? I don't think so, right? We cut that ding dong out, don't we? Hello, mate, Chris.
Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm on top of the world. We're going to talk about some brief news items in Chiang Mai first, and then about what you do. I know viewers that are regular know you from the report, and if they saw the first one, you did briefly explain what you're doing up there, but we'll go into a little bit more depth, and not totally, because we want you for a separate one all about mental health. But anyway, first things first, let's have a look at, you're going to start it off with some news stories. What's happening there? Chiang Mai becoming another province of China or something? What was that?
All right. Okay. Yeah, that's us censored already.
Chiang Ming, it shall be called from now on.
So, what I see with the COVID situation, what's generally happening up there?
It just, Chiang Mai feels completely normal again. And I was just thinking there off camera, it's like, I'm thinking I'm kind of adapting to the Chiang Mai without tourists and that now. It's very lively. And I think that everything's open, it's just normal life going on in Chiang Mai.
So more tourists and things. You find there's more Thai tourists now than ever before?
No, I just mean like normal life, just normal
Locals.
Chiang Mai life without tourists, and it's kind of seem to be getting a bit used to it now.
Do you like it?
Well, yeah, not business-wise, I don't, but just I don't know. I just thinking there when I was just waiting in the green room that it's like I think I'm getting used to this.
I'm liking it. I'm liking it.
Yeah, it's kind of it's normal. Everything's normal up here,
There've been some reports that the walking street is really busy. Yeah? People are going there for a wander. They're going for something to eat. I'm not sure whether they're respecting the COVID as mask and distancing. Yeah, it's a market for goodness sake.
Yeah, I mean everyone's still wearing masks up here, and like I said before, Chiang Mai is a kind of mask city anyway. They seem to always be wearing masks for some reason, but everyone's still wearing masks. There's still all the checks going on in supermarkets and stuff like that, and 7-Eleven. But I don't know whether the walking street exploded because of the 4-day holiday.
Yeah, probably.
I think it was obviously a bit more busier than normal, but like Taipei Gate, the kind of center of Chiang Mai, is still dead. That's like the couple of real tourist areas are dead. But
I mean, as a business side, because Songkran was a big thing up in Chiang Mai, wasn't it? It was
massive, yeah.
So all that revenue down the drain.
Yeah. Chiang Mai is meant to be one of the best places, isn't it, for Songkran? Meant to be like the start of it, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Okay, right, that's
so,
good.
all right.
Some other news. There was the new ambassador who was politically appointed. Was the first politically appointed U.S. ambassador in 40 years. Yeah. I'm not sure what that actually means, but that's what he said in the newspaper. I would have thought every ambassador would be politically appointed. So if there's an ambassador watching, tell me how you're appointed. Is it from the Foreign Office alone, and it's not politically motivated, or is it Donald Trump turned around and said, "Well, I like this guy. Let's send him across there," or he's a pothead and he can go across there and he can check in the drug situation. Yeah, he understands it. Yeah. Or something like that. Anyway, so this gentleman is the U.S. Ambassador Michael DeSombre, was DeSombre, just in case I got the pronunciation wrong. My apologies.
Sounds like Mexican origin there, isn't it? It's DeSombre. Lo siento, hombre. Anyway,
so
go on.
what he did in Chiang Mai, he met with the Chiang Mai governor, and clearly this is related to China and also drug production within Myanmar. So there's joint operations, from what I understand, within different governments to try and reduce the amount of drugs coming across from Myanmar, which I also expect from Laos and other places. But he had a tour around the Golden Triangle in a helicopter, and his comment was, well, that's pretty tough land to sort of manage on border control, etc., which is pretty obvious because it's been going on for about 100 years. And then he also was talking about the burning season and how they could maybe help with that because of the same problems in the US. But as he pointed out, the agricultural department within the US, they deal with flat lands. So that's how they can manage it. But unfortunately, that area is not flat lands. So he was pretty open, saying, I'm not sure how we can help you, but we'll certainly try and help you. And he's also looking at trying to build up the local economy, business investment, and also generally opening up businesses. Another thing I was very interested to hear was how he would, he was sort of lobbying in a way to say how they can change some of the business rules. Now, don't forget, the US have a treaty of amnesty, which means they can own 100% of their companies. But obviously he's getting in the bandwagon with other countries as well, trying to adjust the business laws. Yeah? So how many staff you have to have employed before you can get a work permit, what the payment capital is, how much ownership of shares, etc. So that's another thing he's doing. But they're building a new consulate in Chiang Mai. I believe they have one already, but they're building a new one. And clearly, they're also looking at how the Mekong is being affected by the dams that have been built by China, because that's going to directly affect the economy in Chiang Mai from agriculture, etc. as well, and how China is manipulating the water flow. Okay.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, if you go to Nong Khai, last time I was up there many years ago, it wasn't a dry season, but it certainly is far lower than I saw 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Right, so that's what he's doing. So effectively, I think they're actually also looking at building a spy base or just a monitoring base. Yeah, because don't forget, within Thailand was one of the major bases during the Vietnam War. So maybe they're trying to build up the relations with Thailand if things kick off on the Sprattle Islands as a base.
Do you know what this smells of? It's like America coming over here because they're frightened of China and don't want China getting any strong foothold anywhere, and they look at the relationship we have, and they seem to, I don't know, I don't trust them. Let us get on with what we want to do. I don't want advice about the Golden Triangle. We've been managing that for hundreds of thousands of years.
I don't know what they're talking about. Is throwing money. It would be throwing money at it to help support it. But the point is that they've always been there. So saying that them getting involved, they've always been involved. Yeah, that's why they've got a consulate there already. Yeah. So it's nothing really new, to be perfectly honest, but what they're trying to do is probably basically introduce themselves. Yeah.
We've been here for years. You don't know us.
No, the new ambassador is a new ambassador. Yeah. So from that point of view, so basically, the basically trying to build up relations. Yeah. Rebuild relations with Thailand, because China's expanding their influence, obviously, especially through investment. So so that's basically the news that's been going on. Yeah, that I saw.
Well, thanks for that report,
a lot,
Chris.
to be perfectly honest. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they can't. The Americans can't have too much power in Chiang Mai. The US ambassador place at the moment is in the bloke's house, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like a tiny little thing, but with the dam stuff, I mean, my wife mentioned it to me the other day. She's really worried about it as a Thai person.
Can you explain a bit more about it? Yeah, what is it?
If one of them dams goes, that's going to take out half of Laos, and affect North Thailand. You know what I mean? It's serious, very, very serious. I think this dam stuff that's going on.
And really what's wrong with the dams? I'm afraid I don't know the story. Are they falling down or something? Or
no, it's just if they're controlling the water, like Andrew said. But if it does go, these dams are huge. If they do go, it'll flood half the country.
Bloody hell.
My wife was mentioning it, and she was really worried about it. The Thais are talking about it.
Yeah, it's access to the water. Obviously, farming needs water, and obviously, if there was a clean flow, that nature takes its course and manages that through erosion, etc. If there's more water, but what's happened in China, because the Mekong is a very long river, all the way from China, way down through Cambodia and out. Yeah? So it's huge. So what they were concerned about is that you could be held to ransom for water. Now, what's the biggest asset of the world? Water, clean water, non-salinated water, because you can't grow a lot of things in salt water. There was an issue in Thailand, in the Gulf of Thailand, through the Chao Phraya. If you look at Samut Prakan on the other side of the river, they had a lot of prawn farms. They stopped the prawn farms. Why? Because it was damaging the agricultural soil further inland. Right? So basically, the salt water can permeate through into the water table, and that is one of the issues. Yeah. But anyway, on Mekong River, it's the flow. And if you think about how many countries that flows through, it's China, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, right? So there's an awful lot of people dependent on that water. And
so has the ambassador moved out of his friend's house now then and waiting for his new house then? There's a new consulate. I mean, it's unbelievable. No, I don't get this. I get it's America, like they're on the back, they're going, oh my goodness, China, everything. Oh, well, we got to now carry on with our relationship with Thailand. And in they come, like it was oil before with the Middle East. Now it's China, whatever.
I don't think it's quite like that. That's just, it's diplomatic relations. That's what you're talking about. They're not talking. Maybe there will be a Cold War, but it's not based around Thailand.
Well, it's not a cold, no. But anyway, okay. I'm just saying that I think, as you said, Chris, Chiang Mai is doing really well without tourists. The 95% of the poll that was anti-opening the borders are obviously from people not in the tourist industry. Because if you're in it, like my wife is, like you are, like, well, that's where all the money comes into Thailand from. It's a big thing. And I think we're going to, it's great for us and I love it, but we need the tourists.
Yeah, it's the hotels now, isn't it? I mean, the hotels that are starting to suffer now, it's the long, the initial kind of problems with the economy, but now we're seeing the long-term problems with the economy because of this. And I think it's the hotels in Chiang Mai that are suffering. And we're not like Phuket, where we're an island and we're completely dependent on tourism. Chiang Mai is like a Thai city, and there's Thai life goes on and mixed with tourism. So it's not like Chiang Mai has been devastated like Phuket and Koh Samui and places like that. It's like, but I think it's the hotels that are really suffering now. And we haven't got the kind of sex scene in Chiang Mai that other places have got. So that's just a very small part of it, the phalang bars and things like that. But I think massage parlors and normal ones, because there's so many of them that cater to tourists, and hotels that are really suffering now. I think that's
what I saw was two approaches they're looking at doing. One is that they're going to open up the island like Samui, Phuket, Koh Phi Phi, to tourism, for international tourism, which is interesting, because obviously you can get flights direct to Samui, but probably Phuket would be the main airport, as opposed to Bangkok International Airport. So they're looking at, so if something does kick off, they can just lock it down straight away. And I think that's quite a sensible approach.
I thought it was as well.
Paria's not on there. And another thing
Chiang Mai was on the original kind of travel. Well, it wasn't on the original travel bubble, but then they put Chiang Mai on there. But I think that's all gone out the window, though, hasn't it? Because of the way all the cases have escalated in the world. That's what I was saying. I was thinking October, if everything's all right. But at the moment, because of the way the world's going, I don't think it's going to be this year.
They just released this plan. So that was maybe earlier in the week. So basically focusing on these 3 islands, but they're discussing it. Like everything else is discussing. You can change their mind 10 minutes later. Like
it's the second wave everybody seems to worry about. Well, talking about hotels, like you've got a sort of a hotel, accommodations, put it that way. So can you just briefly, Chris, talk about, what you're doing there? What actually do you do there? What's it called? And how long have you been there, first of all?
So we've got an old resort style property, but it's really a sober house, and that's for people that are suffering with addiction to drugs or alcohol that we support, and they normally come over from all over the world and spend time with us and have some counselling and group therapy, and we support them to get clean and sober. But the rehab business in Thailand is huge, or it was before COVID. It's completely collapsed, but it was very big, and the reason it was quite big in Thailand is because it's cheaper in Thailand, and you could pass that on to the clients. So the price to go to rehab was cheaper, and there was no waiting list. So there was a lot of people coming to Thailand for rehab, primary treatment. But what we set up was a second stage. So when people go to rehab, it's very, very difficult going home after that, because they come out of active addiction, go to rehab, get on their feet, do their counselling, and then they go straight back into the environment that they were in before they went. So we provide a transitional stage. We've got a bit in the middle where they come to us and they get their freedom, and they can learn to live back in the real world before they go home, get used to all them triggers and stuff out there, and build a recovery in the community,
Okay. How many rooms you got there?
12.
Okay. And obviously catering and everything that goes along with that, or do they have to go outside for catering? Or
Yeah,
I'm just trying to envisage it,
Yeah, no, we supply breakfast and stuff, but it's basically like living a normal life at home. They get their freedom, they go out, they manage their own time, but they still get the counselling and the group therapy and support, and they get support from their peers. And so we're like a sober living community, but it's geared towards being more of a normal life rather than a big structured rehab program where they're locked in and
so it's a bit chilled.
Everything's done for them. Here it's about getting back on your feet, getting back to normal life. And Chiang Mai's got, you wouldn't believe the amount of people that are in recovery in Chiang Mai. The recovery community in Chiang Mai is huge. Wow. There's loads of people in Chiang Mai in recovery. So there's like over 47 support meetings a week. Alcoholics Anonymous, NA, Cocaine Anonymous, Codependency Anonymous. So it's one of the best cities in the world to practice sober living and get used to living in a real world, clean and sober, and
so you were doing quite well. Well, I don't know how well you were doing, but you were running a business, and then along came this COVID thing, this pandemic. Which, did it happen slowly? Did it happen overnight? What happened to the residents in your place? Did they manage to get out okay? Did any have to stay on? How did that sort of work with you?
I mean, COVID crept in semi-quick, didn't it? It was a little bit slow, but it was quite quick, because Thailand seemed to shut down pretty quickly once they got a grip on what was happening. But as far as the business side and the rehabs and us, the Thai Ministry of Health seemed to just come and visit all of us on the same day and really put in some strict rules, they were really strict rules. We had to close our swimming pools, we had to close the gym, everyone had to wear masks, we weren't allowed to do group therapy, and we locked down. We had to, and what a lot of the rehab's done is, which we done as well, is we just had a big meeting with all our guests, and we said, look, this is the situation. Thailand's advising that this is going to go on for a long time. Either you go home now, like right now, or you're prepared to sit out for a long wait. And every single guest we had at the time said, I don't want to go home. So we locked down basically and followed the Thai Ministry of Health.
And financially,
rules.
They were okay to make that decision.
Yeah, because a lot of these guys are quite, they're all right financially.
Because that was on my mind, being on holiday or rehab doesn't really matter, being out of your country and budgeting for so long, and then it's suddenly 5 times, 6 times longer than what you did. some budgets I would have thought may have run out, or they had to get money from overseas, which I guess they could have done anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was roughly around 400 people in treatment in Chiang Mai alone when COVID hit and the Thai ministry came in, and I think that 70% of people went home. The rehabs emptied pretty much overnight. Most people went home, but everyone here seemed to want to stay, so we locked down and we made the best of it. You know, we turned into a kind of rehab.
Well, can you imagine an addict, a recovering addict, you know, stays with you a week or so and then goes back to their own country where they're locked in their room?
Yes.
You know, that's surely a trigger to, I would have said so, right? So no wonder they're thinking, let's stay here.
Yeah, big problem. That's what, yeah, exactly that. People just didn't want to go home. They didn't want to go home to that. They knew Thailand was doing all right as far as cases and it was a safe place to be. And then the visa amnesty came in, which everyone was worried about. But of course, they were on amnesty. So people just thought, well, you know, we've got a beautiful place, beautiful swimming pool, hot weather.
I've seen the pictures, yeah. You've got a website and a YouTube channel now, right? What's the YouTube channel called?
The Calm Sober House on YouTube. Yeah, you just have to type that in. And we're basically, what we're trying to do is just create some free content, trying to add some value to people's lives around addiction and educate people on addiction. And we're gonna do videos on all kinds of things. It's not about selling the Sober House, the YouTube channel. It's just about giving away free content and adding value, you know. And
like awareness. Well, we'll put the description below so that people can check it out. I've seen a couple. So let's all talk. Well, it's not that bright, but I say, right, you know, the curve's gone down. Maybe there isn't a second wave because we didn't have too much of a first one. But if there is a second, I hope there isn't. Is your business getting better, or is it totally dependent on when they open the country?
Well, it's totally dependent on when they open the country. You know, we were full through the kind of lockdown COVID, but then people, you know, they start drifting off, going home, leaving treatment. And then now there's maybe 20 people left in treatment in the whole of Thailand. And we've got a couple of people, but they're planning to move on. So it will go completely quiet. It will. You know, I predicted this at the beginning that it was going to go this quiet. But we're totally dependent on people coming in the country. Absolutely, yeah.
So you're very calm, so perhaps.
Do you have local people living in Thailand and also Thais, or is it all people flying in from overseas?
It was all people flying in. We have helped a few people that were in Thailand and struggled with being alone through COVID and relapsed, and then they come and stayed with us for a while. But it's like the slow fizzle out, you know. And the longer this goes on, it'll just fizzle out completely. And we're nearly at that point.
Yeah, because I also saw with it. I mean, there's one thing to do with the patients, other to do with your staff. Yeah, I don't know whether you do this or not. But what some of the hotels were doing was they were letting the staff stay in the hotel, in the rooms, and provide them food. And the reason for that was if things lighten up and there are more tourists, they don't need to go and suddenly recruit. They've got people there to suddenly, you know, launch the service again. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we employ, like, we don't really employ people. We use like people that are like self-employed and, like, you know, kind of freelancing, if you like. We've got our core staff, but we don't, because we're not a rehab and we haven't got a full structured program, we don't need that many staff. We've got our Thai staff that we keep on, absolutely. We're keeping our Thai staff going. Yeah. But the other staff kind of, they come in, like our counsellors, they work for themselves. They come in, do a couple of hours counselling, they go home. I do the group therapy and stuff like that. So staffing wise, I mean, that's why we've managed to survive so long, is because we didn't have the overheads that a lot of these rehabs had.
Well, the big question is, because you painted
places, you know,
you painted a pretty dark picture about where you were and it fizzling out and all these negativity. Are you close to going under, or will you see through this and you'll be okay at the other end?
When it's not like we go under as far as we'll go bankrupt and stuff like that, but we would definitely won't have people. So that's 100% guaranteed. If this goes past October, then you know, I mean, our landlady's been very kind, reduced our rent massively for us for the last 3 months. She's been very, very kind. But if she's not prepared to do that after October, or not even drop it anymore and stuff like that, we'll possibly have to give up our building and then start again when, and if the borders reopen, but it's not like financially we'll go under. We've been very sensible. It's just that it'll be on like hold.
Do you think there's a local market though? I mean, like Thais in Bangkok that are in serious trouble would sure benefit about it, but would they go up to see you and stay a week or 2 weeks with you?
We've had inquiries actually from a couple of Thai people, but there's a rehab that's still open at the moment that's going to go for the Thai market now. But it's not really. No, it's never. This whole business has always been geared towards people flying over. It's not really a Thai thing, because even though it's affordable for a lot of people, it's not really affordable for a lot of Thai people.
Got it. Yeah.
So it's never ever. This business is never ever going to be. You wouldn't be able to thrive on a Thai market. No, it's definitely not going to happen.
Okay. Any more questions? I don't know what we're doing for time there, Andrew. You're looking at the clock.
Yeah, we've got maybe a minute or so left. So I think everybody is looking to see what's happening and trying to adapt their business. Even my business, we're having to adapt what we're doing. Yeah, and as I'm the forever optimist. Yeah. I always turn around and say with every bad thing there's a silver lining, and I look for that. And actually, some new projects have developed from that attitude. So we're not like a big multinational where we're locked into. We're far more flexible. The bigger you are, the more difficult it is for you to change.
Absolutely. Yes.
So we're peer size. I just keep my fingers crossed. Try and stay positive. Yeah, and keep a routine going.
Yes, this is what I mean earlier. It's kind of weird. It's like, there's the initial kind of, oh my God, what's going to happen, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm kind of getting used to this. This is like, the new normal. It feels like that at the moment. It feels like that maybe there is a bit of a new normal for a while. And it's the way it is, isn't it? You have to like adapt. And even all my business mentors say the people that don't adapt are the ones that get left behind. And that's
it. That's it.
That's the way.
Well, we wish you luck anyway. And you're off on your holidays tomorrow. I think you're off down south somewhere, are you? Or
my dad lives in Pattaya. I'm going to go down there and spend some time with my dad. My wife's sister lives there. We're just going to take a break.
Yeah. And enjoy the new normal.
Take a break from the break. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right then. Well, Chris, thanks for joining us, and I'm sure it won't be too long before we get you back on again. So have a nice
brilliant
time,
to talk to you guys.
All right, all the best.
Bye.
Always good. Yeah. So I guess really, Andrew, it's there's not a lot happening COVID-wise because everyone seems to be doing the same thing now. It's just minus the tourists.
Yeah, I mean,
and all businesses related to that, which are varied and vast.
Well, everyone's a bit nervous. I get the feeling there's a very sort of negative, oh my God, what's going to happen attitude just now. Yeah. Everybody's got it. But in a way, are we lying to ourselves? Am I lying to myself, trying to put silver linings on things? Or is it just going to keep saying? Yeah.
Well, a quick promo. I don't know if this is coming out after the one when we were talking to Kay. This will be after, right? So we already uploaded Kay's. Yeah, we did one earlier on, which is definitely worth a view. It's about a lady that actually experienced, and we will talk about her life during 14 days of quarantine here in Thailand. I found it very interesting. If you could like and share the video, it would really help us. I know we always say it, but it does help a lot. And if you're new to the channel, then subscribing would be great as well.
Okay.
So that's it from me, I think. Andrew?
Yeah. Never tempt me. Never. Every time you say that, I always have something.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I should learn.
One thing I will say is we've got
here we go.
We've got the green screen in the background.
Well, they won't see the green screen. They'll see a picture on it, hopefully.
That's right. Yeah, and we'll do some flashing changes of the picture. So,
all right then.
We're driving our business anyway. Okay.
Stay safe. Yeah. See you soon. Clip Cube Media. We love you. Yeah. Okay.